Hello all and welcome back to my Darkseed 2 guide read. The guide, of course, by Leanne Morris. Today I'm tackling Chapter 13, Explanations Unfold. Just a reminder, like the last video, I'm adding my logo as a visual indicator for when I go off script. Let's get started. Back in the normal world, Mike's at loose ends, not quite sure what he should do. For once, Pandora is no help because she can't make forecasts with Dark World objects. The important thing, however, is for Mike to find the shapeshifter and recover the sword. His list of suspects has dwindled. The mayor and medical examiner are dead, Jimmy's in the hospital, and Slim, like Goth, his Dark World counterpart, is none too healthy. Other people, such as Sheriff Butler, Dr. Sims, Melissa, Mrs. Ramirez, and Hank, have disappeared. Mrs. Dawson and Deputy Brown have nothing new to say. That leaves Paul Cooper, who's done nothing but water his damn lawn while Crowley falls down around his ears. He's too weird even for Mike. And because his Dark World counterpart is the Temple of the Triangle, his house is logically the religious center of Crowley. It's about time to find out exactly what that religion is. I would imagine he is a Jehovah's Witness. Paul's house. Hey, here's a shock. When Mike walks up to Paul's house, Paul's watering his lawn. That gasp was actually in the book. It wasn't me. But Mike can quickly end this type of subversive behavior. Grabbing the cranial wrench, Mike goes to the faucet in Paul's yard and turns off the water supply. To his credit, Paul doesn't flip out like you'd expect. But while he's calmly walking over to the spigot, Mike gets his first chance to slip inside Paul's house. So here's a question here. How is it that Paul doesn't understand he just needs to turn the spigot back on? Or maybe he does and it's just off screen. Anyway, sorry, moving on. If you needed proof that Paul's a strange duck, his living room should provide it. The place is filled with locked drawers. Drawers on cabinets, on desks, and on dressers. Mike thinks Paul must keep all of his dirty little secrets in the drawers. But there are enough drawers here to store the dirty little secrets of the whole town. In contrast, Paul's bedroom is normal for a bachelor pad. It actually makes him look more interesting than Mike. At least some books and personal effects are lying around. And how about that big neon cactus? A glance at the desk shows Paul has paid his water bill through the end of the year, which is what he said to us from the beginning, but anyway, I digress. The bookshelf is packed with titles, but Mike can't find anything unusual about them. In fact, Mike can't find anything unusual at all, until he notices scuff marks on the floor where the bookcase was recently removed. He takes a closer look at the shelf until he finds he can swing the entire thing out into the room. Paul must have used the Occults Are Us catalog to furnish the tiny room behind the bookcase. Illuminated by a large candle, it features pentagrams, tarot cards, strange posters, and a huge icon of some otherworldly creature Mike knows only from his nightmares. A photograph of Rita, Paul, Mayor Fleming, and Doc Larson, all wearing black robes, hangs by the door, while a poster of H.R. Giger's Sign of the Four is pinned to the opposite wall. Another copy of the Necronomicon lies upon an ornate table. Whereas the Necronomicon in the Temple of the Triangle was open to the page recounting Mike's adventures in the Dark World, this volume speaks of the other world, where spirits and the dead plan to send a messenger to cleanse the Prime World. Notably out of place is a keychain, but no sooner does Mike pick it up than Paul walks into the room, a large knife, a huge knife, held in one hand. He accuses Mike of trying to stop the messenger, then attacks him. Paul is stabbed in the struggle and falls into Mike's arms. With his dying breaths, Paul describes the voices that told him to kill. He and Rita had contacted the spirits of the dead during a seance, and they were told to prepare for the coming of the messenger. The pair brought Fleming and Larson into the circle to help with ceremonies, only to find that the rituals made them slaves of the voices. He denies being the serial killer. Only one as great and pure as the messenger can perform such deeds. Rita's house. He's in deep trouble now, and Mike knows he's running out of time to find the sword. He thinks perhaps Paul was the shapeshifter, even though he denied it. Rita's house must hold the final key to the puzzle. Before he can get into Rita's house, however, Mike must distract the ever-vigilant Deputy Brown. But now he has the key, or the keychain at least. Returning to the main business district, Mike uses the keys to open Paul's hardware store. Inside are bins of nuts and bolts, stacks of paint, and reels of cable. An old-fashioned cash register rests on the counter, and a fire alarm is mounted on the wall. Mike activates the alarm, click on it with a pointer, then ducks into the alley between the store and Dr. Sims's office while Deputy Brown goes charging in, gun drawn. With no one around to stop him, Mike easily walks into Rita's house. Her living room is decorated in southwestern colors and with Native American arts and crafts. A desk is placed just inside the door to Rita's bedroom. Mike searches the desk, and soon wishes he hadn't. Rita's left behind an unmailed letter to her mother, in which she mentions the crush Mike still has on her after all these years. She writes that he follows her around like a sick puppy, and she thinks he has emotional problems. Well, she's much more interested in her cute neighbor, Paul, a member of her reading group who's tall, handsome, and good at fixing things around the house. In a cheerful closing, Rita says Paul has given her a pass for a free psychic reading at the carnival, and she'll let the family know what the future holds for her. Irony rears its ugly head once more. Mike is furious at the note. He calls Rita a bitch for toying with him, and he expresses happiness that he killed Paul. So that jealousy's rearing its ugly head again as well. Anyway, but he needs that pass. Pandora may be the only person who can help him figure out what he needs to do. I mean, Mike's kind of grasping at straws there, but sure. Moving into Rita's cramped bedroom, he searches in vain. Her dresser is locked and nothing turns up in the closet. But what's that stuck in the corner of the mirror? Great! He's got the pass, written on one of Pandora's business cards. But Mike takes a closer look in the mirror. Geez, he looks like hell. He looks like Jack. As Mike watches his reflection, his outline morphs into that of his friend.
You thought you had everything pretty much figured out, didn't you, Mikey boy?
Jack scoffs.
Well, I'd stop while I was ahead if I were you. The truth can be very ugly.
While Mike watches in horror, Jack's reflection changes into the messenger, the embodiment of the idol Paul had in his shrine. Then the visage returns to his own. Pandora provides the key. Mike tamps down his feelings of dread in hopes that Pandora will be able to explain things to him. She's at her customary place in the sideshow, and as usual, she's been waiting for him. At first, she offers the usual fortunes about Mike's personal effects or her fellow carnies. But when Mike offers her the business card, her attitude changes.
Ah, why didn't you tell me you were one of the Illuminati?
She exclaims.
This entitles you to a special reading.
For this fortune, Pandora looks into her crystal ball, and Mike is able to see the vision as well. Mike sees himself as a child, reflected in the curve of the crystal ball. He's lying in bed, and a younger version of his mother is sitting beside him.
Mikey, there are no monsters in the closet.
She says.
There's nothing there but an old dusty mirror. But I'll tell you what, I'll lock this closet forever so that nothing can get through it.
Mrs. Dawson waves her hand in a conjuring motion, then announces that she has an invisible key for the closet. She uses it to lock the closet, then tosses her hand like a magician, making something vanish.
Poof! It's gone. The monsters won't be able to come through the closet.
Mike's amazed he thought the closet was locked for all these years. Pandora's even more shocked because she can't believe how much of an idiot he is. I am sorry. But I mean, come on. I think anyone would be shocked at that point. Okay. Pandora's even more shocked. She says intently.
Listen to me. That reading I gave you, it was the most intense reading I've ever experienced. We are in great peril. You must go home right now and confront your fears.
Going into the closet. What a chapter title. Mrs. Dawson didn't raise a fool, so Mike goes straight home. I mean, well, pump the brakes there, Leanne. Giving Mike a little too much credit on that one. Anyway, on his way into his bedroom, he asks his mother about the quote-unquote locked closet. She's astonished that he's believed it was really locked all these years. Once he's in his bedroom, Mike stands, filled with trepidation, in front of the closet. The nightmares of monsters he had as a child are still vivid. Reaching out, he turns the knob, and the door opens. It really was unlocked. A large mirror fills the doorways of the closet, and Mike recognizes it as a portal to the dark world. For a moment, he hesitates, but then he steps through the glass and disappears. You've added a keychain to Mike's inventory, but have met no one new. Well, you also added the business card from Pandora. Also, I don't remember ever looking at the key or having Pandora read the key. I'd have to go back and check that. Let me do that real quick. Okay, sorry, I literally paused the audio or the recording to go look at my video of it. And you can, in fact, get a reading on the keys. For some reason, Leanne didn't. Not that it really gives you any new info, but here it is in case you're interested.
I see a thief loudly proclaiming his guilt.
Okay, with that being said, I'm going to go back to the beginning of the chapter and go through the pictures and the captions. All right, first up is Paul's house, specifically the room with all the drawers. A whole adventure game worth of mysterious drawers, and you can't open a single one of them. That's what drives me crazy. I really wish they had hidden something in at least one, but that's just me. All right, next is with Mike and Paul's loving embrace. When Mike picks up the keychain, Paul comes into the room and starts brandishing a knife. The occult leader is killed in the struggle. Alright, up next is the hardware store. The only way to get Deputy Brown away from Rita's house is to set off a false alarm. Yep, amen to that. Alright, next is Rita's house. Rita's letter reveals her feelings for Mike, and he's not pleased with the truth. To say the least. Alright, two more. This is Pandora, though. Mike is startled to realize the closet in his bedroom has never really been locked. Come on. I mean, it's true, but that's just... You'd have to say it like it was, Leanne. That's such a ridiculous plot point, but I love it nonetheless. Alright, last but not least is Mike's room. For all these years, a portal to the dark world was just a step away. Okay, but hold on. It's any mirror, isn't it? Like, maybe I'm wrong. I'm getting my lore mixed up, but I guess it's only special mirrors. Anyway, I don't know. Well, that's the end of chapter 13, and we only have one more chapter left. Just scrolling through now, it looks like another kind of short one. Anywho, hopefully you enjoyed today's video and got a few laughs. As always, thank you for watching. Hey y'all, I have some big news. The latest Tales of Hyperia the Crimson Knight demo has been officially released. Relive the magic of classic gaming with this new retro-inspired JRPG demo designed for the Game Boy. Immerse yourself in unique pixel art, an epic quest, and turn-based battles that harken back to the golden age of RPGs. Check out the link in the description to play the demo.